Lucy's Kitchen, it's Lucy's Kitchen. She's Lucy and she's got a kitchen. Lucy's Kitchen.
And now that we've got your attention, let's cook. Hi there. Welcome to Lucy's Kitchen. I'm Lucy, and this is my kitchen. Today we're going to make blueberry pie with a streusel topping. I don't know about you, but I've been buying blueberries lately. They're everywhere I look. The grocery store is filled with them. The farmer's market has them. They're everywhere. And when I buy blueberries, I buy blueberries. I just can't resist them. They're antioxidants, super good for you. They have all kinds of health benefits. And on top of that, they're nature's candy. They're delicious. They're sweet. They're wonderful. And because I buy so many blueberries, I look for ways to use a lot of them. This pie is an excellent way to do that. Now, we've got blueberries. This is an entire 4 cups of blueberries, so we're going to really enjoy these. I'm going to put them aside because I like to get everything started and everything ready before I actually make the pie, and definitely before I combine the blueberries with the filling ingredients. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is the streusel topping. Now, streusel topping is nothing more than some sugar, some flour, and some butter, all cut together. And you can use a pastry cutter. You can use a couple of knives. You can even use your fingers and just crumble it together until it's all mixed. I've got 1/3 of a cup of butter, which is unsalted butter, of course. And I'm going to put that in there. Then I'm going to sprinkle that with my sugar. Got 1/2 cup of sugar, and I've got 3/4 of a cup of flour. And this is in lieu, of course, of a crust. You know, this is going to be the crust, so it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be delicious. All right, now we're going to just take our pastry cutter, and there's a little thumb here, and just start smushing. And it really isn't as hard as you might think. It goes really quick. You can use 2 knives. I've done it. You can use a fork even. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be completely granulated and mixed together if you'd like, or you don't even have to get to that point. Now, of course, you want to get beyond this point. So just take your spatula and push that off every now and then and make sure. There we go. And keep going. Now, my husband usually does this step for me. And I wanted to mention and give some credit to my husband's mother, my mother-in-law. This is actually based on her apple pie, which is an apple streusel pie. And so I'm using her streusel topping for this blueberry pie. It's very similar. I think that's one reason my husband loves this pie, because his mother made a similar pie when he was growing up. So we just chop away until it's done. And now don't forget to use cold butter when you do this. You need it to be cold so that the topping is crumbly. When you have cold butter, bits of cold butter mixed with flour and sugar, it puffs up, and so it makes the topping perfect and light and fluffy, which you really want. Okay, so we're done with that, and I'm going to just show you. It's really kind of a rough crumble. It's definitely mixed well, and if you have any concerns, reach in there and feel it. And yes, there are some lumps, but those lumps actually are not really lumpy. They just look lumpy, and they're going to be great on top of the filling. All right, next we're going to work on our pie crust. So roll your pie crust out to about 12 inches, and I like to sprinkle my surface with a little bit of flour. Gives me some leverage. The pie crust doesn't stick as much. It doesn't have to be a lot. And just a few turns. Obviously, you're going to use your very favorite. And I'm going to drape it over my rolling pin, so it makes it easier to drape it over the pie dish if you've draped it over your rolling pin. And you can make sure it's even all around so that your favorite pie crust will turn out perfectly. I'm going to just gently push it down into the corners to the edge, the bottom edge of the pie dish, and make sure the top edge is even all around. Then we're going to just fold over the crust, and while we fold it over, we can actually do this all in the same movement, which is to pinch it, fold it over, 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 pinch it. All right. Now I'm going to take my finger and just go back over all of these pinches and push them down so that they make a really nice decorative edge. And while I'm doing that, I'm pressing the bottom of the crust back into the edge, the bottom edge of the pan. I think that's it. Okay, now we can set that aside. Next, our blueberries. Now we've got, as I said, the most delicious blueberries ever. Taste your blueberries. If they're sweet, you might not want as much sugar. If they're tart, you definitely want a little bit more sugar. You can determine it yourself. Now, these are sort of medium sweet, and I'm going to use half a cup of sugar with them. The first thing I'm going to do is just pour them right into this bowl. I'm going to sprinkle the sugar on top. And I'm going to sprinkle some flour. Now, this is an important step. If you have very juicy berries, you're going to want more flour. I've got about 1/3 of a cup, but I think I'm going to just use 1/4, which is 4 tablespoons. And if you're using a different fruit, if you decide to make this with apples, for example, you might not need that much flour. You might only need maybe even a tablespoon of flour. But the berries tend to give off a lot of liquid. This is 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Throw that in. And our secret ingredient is lemon zest. Now I'm going to just zest this right into my bowl. This is a microplane. It's very easy to use, and it does a great job of zesting my lemon. Keep doing it, keep going. Now, I love lemon zest so much that anytime I use a lemon, I save the zest and I put it in a little bag in the freezer because it's very handy for all kinds of dishes. You can sprinkle it on potatoes. You can add it to a cake, and it's never out of place. Whoop! Whoops. Okay. All right, so then there's a little bit left. Just tap that down. Let's see if we can use a little of this to do it. Okay, all right. So now I'm gonna just gently toss them with my tiny little spatula. Toss everything together and make sure it's nicely mixed. I don't want it all clumping on the bottom. And the last step is the juice of 1 lemon. So I'm going to take that same lemon that I zested, and actually by zesting it, it makes the flesh a little softer, makes it easier to juice and get all that good juice. Now, lemons add a lot of flavor to our pie. The juice is tart, but it's distinctive, and it helps to balance the sweetness of the berries as well as the sugar. And looks like this lemon has no seeds. So I'm going to just take all that pulp too and add it to my berries. Now this is why I didn't want to make this filling ahead of time, and why I always make it as the last thing on the list. Because I don't want that lemon juice to start drawing moisture and liquid from my berries and make them too juicy. Okay, that's it. So, smells wonderful. Let's get that pie over here. Pie crust. And this part's easy. Just pour them in. And then you're going to have a little bit of the lemon and sugar and flour mixture. So get all of that good stuff. Evenly spread your berries. And then evenly pour this around. Actually, you don't have to be even. It'll even itself out in the oven. Last step, the streusel. So you can use your fingers. You can use a spoon. If you use a spoon, you just kind of toss it over the top like that until you use up all of it. And you want it to be even. You want to kind of cover all the berries. Definitely don't want to leave any gaps. As I said before, this is going to form our crust. It's going to be beautiful. I think this is streusel pie with a few blueberries. All right. Okay. And I would give it a little shake, not too much. Now, some of the blueberries are peeking out. That's okay. They'll give that topping some visual interest. I like to use a pie ring to cover the crust while it's baking. And I do this so that the crust doesn't burn, because it tends to cook a little quicker than the filling. And so I just put this on for the first 50 minutes, then I take a peek. It might stay on the whole time I'm cooking it, or I might take it off. If you don't have one of these, just use a little foil and make a little tent around the edge of your pie. So I'm going to put it in the oven and then join you again when the pie's ready. Well, here we are with our beautiful blueberry pie. I'm very excited to give this a try. Now, it's been cooling off for about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. When it came out of the oven, it was bubbling like lava, too hot to eat. And besides, we like it to set a little bit before we slice into it, so it doesn't, spill all over the place. Let's see how it works. I'm going to go ahead and just cut right in. And I'm going to move my plate closer so I don't have any mistakes. Okay. Wow. Well, there we go. Oh, well, okay. That looks amazing. So my recommendation is to decorate the plate with a few fresh berries, like some strawberries and a few blueberries. You could serve it with a little ice cream. And I've got a nice sprig of mint, which I think looks quite lovely next to it. So here we go. Get a little of the streusel topping as well as the filling. Wow, I love it. Delicious. Really, really delicious. You can taste the lemon zest and the lemon juice. It's just the perfect accent and great counterpoint to the blueberries. Blueberries themselves are in a marvelous, marvelous blueberry sauce, and they're not too sweet, but they're just sweet enough. And then we have this elegant and delicious crumb topping, which is buttery and crispy, just the right accent. I think anyone who comes to your house and has a piece of this pie may not want to go home. Well, I hope you give it a try. That's it for today. Thanks so much for joining us here at Lucy's Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And come back next time when we share more delicious recipes from my kitchen to yours.